Welcome back. It's JWalter here, and here's a big update for you guys because housing inventory, or the amount of houses for sale in the US, has started to increase. This is a further sign that home buying demand is decreasing, and also we may be starting to see some seller FOMO. In other words, it appears that some sellers are looking to take advantage of these market conditions where it's still a strong seller's market on average across the United States. So I'm really excited to share this video with you today. I'm also going to be sharing what we're personally seeing in my neck of the woods, which is the greater Sacramento area, which is a big increase in housing supply compared to 1 year ago. So with that said, let's begin today's video. And also, if you're looking for a real estate agent referral in your neck of the woods, then check out homeandmoney.com/Jason to get started today. So the latest stats I want to share with you guys is from Realtor.com. They actually just posted this today at the time of this video, which is the 12th of May. So here's what the headline reads here. The median asking price in April reached an all-time record high. In other words, that means basically the average asking price that a home seller is asking for their house for sale reached an all-time record high. But the bigger story is an improvement in the number of houses available for sale. In other words, an improvement in housing supply, which is much needed given the fact we have this big imbalance between home sellers and home buyers. Home sellers on average still have a strong advantage over home buyers, but I'm really looking forward to the day where home buyers have the advantage over home sellers. So I'll definitely keep you posted regarding the latest updates. We have a long ways to go though. It says here the number of houses actively for sale, which is housing supply, on Realtor.com notched the first non-negative year-over-year change since June 2019. So what we have been seeing though, back ever since really the July of 2019, is a year-over-year decrease in the number of houses for sale compared to 1 year ago, right? But right now, based on the latest stats we're seeing right now, at least according to Realtor.com, the amount of houses for sale is basically flat compared to 1 year ago. It's a very small increase, but more or less flat compared to 1 year ago, which is pretty ironic because you know it's bad when we're celebrating a non-negative change in housing supply. At least it hasn't been a decrease by 40+% earlier on during this pandemic here. In any case, Realtor.com expects to see further gains in the weeks ahead. In other words, further increases in housing supply in the weeks ahead, which is obviously a positive sign if you're looking to buy a house. So here's something really interesting here. It says the change of the number of houses for sale has been driven by a combination of more sellers eager to take advantage of market conditions. In other words, record high home prices, and of course, a still strong seller's market. So it appears that some homeowners are looking to take advantage of the current market conditions. Also, to make good on previously delayed plans, a lot of people, especially in the early parts of 2020, and also for the vast majority of 2020, a lot of home sellers or homeowners put their plans on hold to move because of COVID. So potentially some homeowners may be looking to sell right now and take advantage of these conditions here, and also based on delayed plans they had previously to sell. On top of this, we're also seeing fewer buyers contending with these rising housing costs, obviously due to record high home prices and of course mortgage rates increasing greatly thus far this year. Home shoppers who remain in the market are getting creative, using larger down payments or selective relocation to move to more affordable areas to keep monthly costs manageable amid higher home prices and rising mortgage rates. In addition to this, as I've been reporting to you guys, a lot of people are looking to get adjustable rate mortgages or ARMs in order to buy houses right now. The share of people looking to use ARMs in order to buy houses, at least based on loan applications, has basically increased by 4 times the amount compared to January of this year. So in January of this year, the share of ARMs for loan applications was around 3%. Now it's approximately 11% of all loan applications right now. So that further causes your housing payment to decrease. So people are getting creative regarding which loan programs they're using as well. On a national level, Realtor.com is also stating that the number of new listings, which is a measure of sellers putting their houses up for sale, was actually up 4% compared to 1 year ago. So right now, which is the heart of May, this is the middle of May at the time of this video, this is basically the heart of the home buying season right now. And they say here over the last few years, they've seen the number of new listings peak on an absolute basis this month. So basically they're saying that in May, during this time of year, each year, the number of new listings tend to peak each year. Whereas active inventory, which is a number of houses for sale, tends to peak in the fall months. Seller confidence amid record high home prices is contributing to the growth in the number of sellers this year over last. So it appears that some sellers right now are looking to take advantage of this market. And in my personal opinion, what I was personally thinking was we're going to see a lack of people listing their houses for sale because a lot of people like myself have mortgage rates fixed at less than 3%. So why would someone sell into buy a new place if they're going to be locking in rates at 5.5% when they potentially have a 2.6% mortgage rate? But that's not really what we're seeing right now, because it appears that some sellers or homeowners are looking to take advantage of these market conditions right now and get the equity out of their houses. Realtor.com is also reporting that active inventory across the United States here grew for the first time since 2019. It says the size of improvement rounded to 0%. In other words, the increase of housing supply compared to 1 year ago was probably in the range of 0.1% to 0.5%, rounded down to 0%. In any case, this week's data marks the first time that inventory figures weren't lower than the previous year since 2019. Since June of 2019. So basically ever since June of 2019, when you compare housing supply compared to 1 year ago, it was always in the negative territory. So right now we're basically flat, which is obviously a positive sign. We'll have to see if this trend continues though, because if active inventory continues to increase, that could be a sign that, of course, that home buying demand is decreasing. And also it could give home buyers a more shot at buying a house because they're going to be seeing more options for what to buy out there, right? However, housing supply remained 60% below its level right at the onset of this pandemic. So we still have a long ways to go, especially compared to pre-COVID. So here's what we're seeing right now. Here's the total number of new listings compared to 1 year ago, right? So year to date in 2022, the number of new listings is down by 2%. But look at the increases every single week over the past few weeks though. So for this week ending April 23rd, an increase by 4% compared to 1 year ago. Then the following week, an increase by 3%. Then the following week, with the most recent week we have right now, an increase again by 4%. So earlier on during this year, we had a decrease in the number of new listings compared to 1 year ago. However, we're starting to see an increase over the past few weeks. On top of this, active listings. Look at active listings. So active listings is housing supply, housing inventory, basically the same thing. Year to date, we're actually down 19%. For the week ending April 23rd, we were down 6%. So a slight improvement compared to overall year to date. Then we also had a slight improvement the following week, down 3%. Now we're at basically flat compared to 1 year ago, obviously a positive sign. So if this trend continues, we could see more housing supply compared to 1 year ago very soon. I also want to share what we're seeing in Northern California as well, because there's some really big changes for housing supply, and I'm going to be sharing some stats with you guys. So here's the stats I'm going to be sharing with you guys, and this is the areas that I'm going to be covering. So this is basically the San Francisco Bay Area, going all the way up to Mendocino County, and all the way down to Monterey County, which is in Carmel, Salinas, etc., and also the greater Sacramento area, going into El Dorado, Placer, and Nevada counties, which basically go up into Lake Tahoe, almost into Nevada. So a really big coverage area of approximately 26 counties. The reason why I mention this is that take a look at this. Here's the number of active listings for sale, which is housing supply over the past 12 months here. So have a look at this. So for those 26 counties in Northern California, have a look at this. So the green bars here is housing supply. So have a look at what happened in March of this year. A big increase compared to March. So have a look at April here, because we saw a huge increase in the number of houses for sale compared to March in the previous month. So for April 2022 compared to March 2022, we saw a 37% increase in the number of houses listed for sale across these 26 counties. So have a look in March of 2021. We had approximately 2,500 houses for sale. And then the following month in April, it only increased by about 500 houses. But have a look at what happened this year, because we went from 3,000 houses for sale all the way up to 4,200 houses for sale. So an increase of over 1,000 houses for sale compared to the previous month. On top of this, compared to 1 year ago, this is April 2022 compared to April 2021, we have an increase of 43.4% in the number of houses for sale across these 26 counties. But here's my biggest aha moment here, because if housing supply increased by 37% compared to 1 month ago, have a look at what happened compared to pending home sales. So even though we have 37% more houses for sale compared to 1 month ago, the number of pendings actually decreased by 3.8%. So we're starting to see a reversal or a shift in our housing market, because one would assume that if home buying demand was very, very strong, if we had a big increase of housing supply, we would see a big increase in the number of pending listings, which of course is when a home seller accepts an offer from a home buyer. That's a pending home sale. But we're not seeing that. So even though we're seeing this big increase of housing supply, the number of pending listings has actually decreased. So what this means for home buyers looking to buy a house is that you're going to be seeing more options of what you could potentially buy. And also because there's more options out there, you may not have to offer way over the asking price and waive all your contingencies in order to get an offer accepted. Because we're seeing this increase of housing supply across the United States here on average, we're also starting to see an increase in the number of home sellers reducing their asking prices as well. So here's the latest stats according to Redfin. So here's the percentage of active listings with price drops. In other words, the seller dropped their asking price in order to attract a home buyer in order to get their house sold. So the black line here is for 2022. The blue line here above is for 2019, pre-COVID. And this orange line here is for 2021. So as you can see here in 2022, the share of price drops has been increasing greatly, really ever since the end of February. So right now, the share of price drops is at 3.7%, the highest share we've seen since November of 2021. Obviously a very small percentage compared to historical trends, but as you can see here, the trajectory has been basically more or less going straight up, which is far different compared to 2019 and obviously compared to 2021 as well. So I'll definitely keep you posted regarding how this big increase of housing supply is going to affect our housing market. So make sure you're subscribed. I'll definitely keep you posted regarding that. Also, if you got any value out of today's video, then please hit the like button. I greatly appreciate that. Hope you have an awesome day. I look forward to seeing you on the next video.